This week, it is crunch time for Ruben Amorim and his Manchester United side. It is as simple as this. United must beat Real Sociedad on the night, whether that be in 90 minutes, 120, or on a penalty shootout. United must win. So the question is, how can we get that done with a slightly injury-hit squad? Well, let's take a look. So the first thing that we need to do is, of course, discuss the starting 11, who's actually going to be playing on the pitch for United. And this is an injury-hit team, so we don't have too many choices. So I want to go through this quite quickly so we can get to the tactics. In goal, Andre Onana, nothing controversial. De Ligt will play somewhere in the defence, and with current injuries, I would expect Victor Lindelof and Mazraoui to play alongside him. At wing-back, I'm going to go for Patrick Dorgu and Diogo Dalot, just because it makes sense, and I think Amorim will do it, and I also think he will play Bruno Fernandes in midfield. There is a slight question mark over who his partner will be. Casemiro, Collier, is Ugarte going to be back from injury? Not too sure. I get a feeling it's going to be Casemiro though, just for fitness reasons, and then in the front three it sort of picks itself. Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Zirkzee and Garnacho. So that's the easy part done. Now for actually figuring out how we play. So what I want to do for this is try and split the match up into three different sections. That's going to be United on the ball, United off the ball, and that in-between moment where it's a little bit chaotic. The transitions, of course. And we're going to start off with Manchester United in possession, where if the first leg is anything to go off, it won't be easy. Real Sociedad in the first leg were applying pressure really high up the pitch. It was often man-to-man, particularly once they could force the ball one way, which is quite achievable against United, because of the structure. Once the ball is forced one way, Sociedad were locking on in a really aggressive manner. They were man-to-man in these moments, and at times that could be quite tough to play through. You can see it here. Ball forced to one side of the pitch, Sociedad lock on. Really aggressive. And this is tough, of course it is. Man-to-man pressure, the physical contact is difficult to deal with. I will say this is one of the rare games across the season where I think United physically are the better team, which gives us a slight advantage. But it is tough. We can see even the front five is actually man-to-man with the back five. So it is a lot of man-to-man football, and United trying to conquer those moments, which is easier said than done with the current squad. What are the potential solutions? Well, solution one is to resort, at times, to long ball football, going over the top of the press to the striker, and that's not a bad idea at all. United fans won't be too keen on the idea, particularly at Old Trafford, but sometimes if you can't play through the press, you've just got to go over it, because you'd rather lose the ball here than here. So that is something that United could do, and Højlund isn't the perfect target man, but I don't think he has to be in this game, not against man-to-man pressure, because a lot of the time against man-to-man pressure, it doesn't have to be perfect. All you actually need to do really is put the centre-back under enough pressure that you can't get a clean contact, so that second ball is going to drop somewhere, and that's where United might be able to then pick up the second ball and play from there. So I would expect United to do this in moments. However, realistically, what United fans would prefer is for United to try and play through the press, get the ball on the floor, and play quick, progressive, exciting football. Can United do that? Yes, we can. I think we can. The Real Sociedad press isn't perfect. There are moments where these players are a little bit late. And I think particularly if United rotate well and are fluid with their movement, I think Sociedad will struggle to get close enough to actually really apply pressure. And that could cause a problem for them. In terms of being fluid, rotating, can Zirkzee sometimes drop into midfield and test how far the centre-backs really want to follow him? But also down this right-hand side, can Dalot invert inside to join the midfield unit, whilst Garnacho moves a little bit wider? Again, that rotation in split-second moments might be enough just to create a little bit of uncertainty in the Sociedad defence, and that gives United the chance to play forward. I think, we're looking at Casemiro, his forward passing range, Bruno Fernandes, maybe even De Ligt in moments, Dalot, players like that, trying to move the ball forward. So it will be about combining, keeping the ball, and then playing quick, playing through, playing over. That will be the plan, I would imagine. Now, inevitably, at this level, there will also be moments where United do actually get their foot on the ball, particularly at Old Trafford. Sociedad might be a little bit more passive, away from home in Europe. It makes sense to be a little bit more cautious. So United might have moments where they can get on the ball and start to create, and more importantly, start to progress the ball. How can we look to do this? Well, again, we have to look at the Sociedad structure. The fact that in these moments, they tend to defend in a sort of 4-1-4-1 structure, which is a good shape. It's quite compact. You've got lots of bodies in the middle of the pitch. But United should actually have even more. This could be a 4 versus 3. And what you are likely to see is the potential for United players to get in the pockets here. Which is why, if Sociedad go with this approach, I wouldn't actually encourage United to play with a diamond, which is different to what I would normally talk about. But we can see Sociedad in these moments. It's very much a back four. And then you can see the three that I'm talking about in midfield. One is clearly deeper than the other two. And It sort of works as a bank of 5 across here, even though on this occasion the left winger is much higher. Normally he'd be playing a little bit deeper. And what this potentially creates is the ability to exploit these two spaces. And I just think if we play with a diamond, I'm not sure we will exploit that space properly. I think these two players might actually sort of get picked up. Whereas I think if we play with more of the box shape, which we've also seen under Amorim, I think naturally these two will get picked up by the two central midfielders, but we might get an overload here against the holding midfielder for Sociedad. So I think in terms of when it's a little bit slower, that's how I would be trying to move on the ball. So the next thing that we need to talk about is how Manchester United can approach this game off the ball. When we don't have possession, how can we be effective in these moments, make it difficult for Sociedad to play through us, reduce their threat, but also, if possible, try and press high to really assert ourselves and be dominant in this match. Well, again, we'll start off with Sociedad. The way that they like to play out is with a 2-3 shape. So we'll see two centre-backs either side of the goalkeeper. We'll see a solo pivot dropping in just in front. And then two reasonably wide fullbacks. It's unlikely that they will literally hug the touchline, but they will play in these sort of in-between positions here. Now, in terms of how United press this, it might actually suit the system that we've been using recently. But first of all, the Sociedad shape. Very much a 2-3 shape. Two centre-backs and then that line of three across in front. Now, you might ask, AJ, what about that midfielder there? To be honest, I don't really class him as part of the structure here because he almost just ended up in this moment on this occasion and actually showed no interest in being part of the build-up structure. He had no interest in this at all. So I would class it very much as a 2-3. And if you watch the video tomorrow, we will talk about how United are good at pressing this shape, but let's briefly cover it here. Striker onto the holding midfielder, two inside forwards up onto the centre-backs, and wing-backs in these in-between positions. I do feel that United could be quite effective in these pressing moments. I said it earlier, I think this is one of the rare games where United are the more physical team of the two, and if we are able to go man-to-man, that could give us a real advantage, particularly if someone like Ugarte plays for his extra mobility ahead of Casemiro or even Toby Collier. But even Casemiro, to be fair, I think might be able to do a job in this match. I think this will be the way for United to try and win the ball high, to get the Old Trafford crowd behind them, get Old Trafford excited, you know. Anytime your team wins the ball in this sort of area, there's a buzz in the stadium, and I think United need to try and really feed off that in this game, and I think a way of doing that is to apply pressure higher up the pitch. However, like I've said already, inevitably at this level of football, Sociedad will have moments, because they're quite a technical team. They will have moments where they move a little bit higher, and they do take control of the ball for short periods. How will they play in these moments? Well, to tell the truth, it's actually largely quite similar. So again, you've got the two centre-backs. They're not a side that build with a back three. And again, you'll see a solo pivot. You'll see two fairly wide fullbacks. And you'll see two wide wingers, and they'll play like this. Almost two sort of free eights given the license to get forward. In terms of in the middle of the pitch, they struggle a little bit with ball progression because there isn't that natural 10 in that position there. Instead, what they will look for is these wide triangles, these wide combination moments. So 3 versus 3 over here, 3 versus 3 down here. They're going to look to combine, pull players out of position, and make life really tricky for United. Now, this was something that Sociedad actually tried to do in the first leg, but unfortunately for them, it didn't work very well. But you can see what they're trying to do here. 3 players, right back, right sided central midfielder, right winger, all looking to combine. And there are moments where they're really bright. Someone like Kubo, of course, is technically extremely gifted, really good on the ball, able to take it in these tight moments and move the ball onto a teammate and then make the next movement off the back of play. I think they look quite good here, so this is something that United will have to try and deal with. I think the best approach, in my opinion, would be not to be overly aggressive here. You know, I don't think we have to apply constant pressure to the ball, but I don't want us to be too passive in the block either. I think we should go for a block in these moments, but an aggressive block. So perhaps we let the centre-backs have the ball, for example, but anytime they try to go into midfield, perhaps that is where we can bite on a little bit more. That's where we can try and turn the ball over and actually carry an attacking threat in that sense. So perhaps Højlund dropping a little bit deeper, the two inside forwards defending in this shape. And like I said, almost wait for Sociedad to bring the ball forward and then look for these traps here where we quickly get together, we support each other, we're strong in the tackle, and then look to transition. And there is a tactical reason why I am trying to kind of ask for this, and it's part of Sociedad's build-up structure. So the fact that we've said already, 3 players on one side of the pitch trying to combine and rotate. What we will also see though sometimes is when they get a little bit impatient, the holding midfielder will go join them to actually make it 4 players on this side of the pitch. Now, that's obviously more difficult for United to defend against because Sociedad now have the extra player. But if United can win the ball back, because the holding midfielder has vacated his position, there's now a huge space. And this is why a lot of teams these days don't play over solo pivot, for this reason. So if United can almost force this, kind of set these traps either in the middle of the pitch or also in these wide zones, I think this will be absolutely key. If United can win the ball back in these positions, this is where we can then talk about transitions and United's ability to get the ball here, and I think we can be really dangerous. I think with the players that we've got on the pitch, we can see it if we just move over to this clip here. We can see it here. So Sociedad are in their 2-3 shape again, 2 centre-backs, full-backs, holding midfielder. But as the play develops, you can see the 3 on the right-hand side. As the play develops, the holding midfielder goes over to sort of try and get involved. But that means if he loses the ball here, or here even, look at the space that he has left. If United are able to overturn possession here, win the ball back, there is so much space there. Now, Højlund probably isn't the best profile to attack this space because he's lacking a bit of confidence when he runs with the ball at the moment. Is there perhaps a way we can get Xerxes in these zones? Then we could be talking, because if Xerxes can pick up the ball, we can have Garnacho and Højlund running ahead of him. That could be really nice to watch because, like I've said, that space is there, and I think Manchester United need to attack it. And I think overall, you can see in this video, there are certainly ways tactically in which United can hurt Sociedad, even with our weakened team. I think I'm fairly confident personally. I think United will win the game somehow eventually, and I think we will progress. Will it be easy? Absolutely not, because Sociedad, they do have some quality players, and tactically they will ask questions of us too. But in terms of if we're looking at the positives for today, we're trying to be optimistic. Apologies for the background noise, we've got workers in at the moment. At least they waited till the end of the video. But if we're trying to be optimistic, I think United will win, and I think we've seen today a few different ways in which United can hurt the opposition. Now I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Is this a starting 11 you would go with for a start? We need to talk about that. How fit is Ugarte? Is he ready? Let me know what you think. And let me know your score predictions in the comments as well. But apart from that, we are finished for today's video. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.